What's up, everybody? It's waba, and I wanted to make another video about price checking. This will be the second one I've ever done, so if you do have any comments about the first one or any feedback for me, I would really appreciate that. Just go ahead and throw them down below. And in case you didn't see my first one, the first one was about mid-range, like average to mid-range boots. Also in this video, you'll actually be able to see that I did sell that first pair that I priced at 50 chaos for 50 chaos. I still do have the pair of boots that are listed for 25, and the other ones I'll probably won't sell at all. But in this episode, I'm going to be pricing two items. One of them I think is pretty good. The other one is okay. This one is okay. This is the ring. I think that this might have some potential of having a little bit of value, not too much. You know, cast speed is something that is like nice to get on a ring, and then especially with the with the recent change in the meta to allow for more hybrid builds that utilize evasion and dodge. I could see this being all right because it does have a tier. I don't know if it's a tier 1. It's a tier 2 prefix for the energy shield, a tier 2 for the evasion, and you know, it has a prefix and a suffix available. You would probably put another resist on here, but I'm going to go ahead and price that first, and then we'll move on to this amulet, which might be a little hard to price. I've already had a couple offers on it, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So let's go ahead and go with this ring first. And, you know, like I was saying in the previous video, you want to figure out what the like unique identifying factor is, or what makes your item unique compared to other items. And usually I wouldn't really search for evasion on a ring, but I'm going to throw that on there. Because again, I might actually see a few rings that have evasion on there, and maybe it's becoming more meta, and so people might be buying them. I'm not entirely sure right now, but you definitely want to include the cast speed. Honestly, the evasion doesn't even matter. It could be a whatever, like whatever prefix on there. Prefixes are pretty straightforward on rings. You want life, you want ES, you want mana. So getting the evasion on here isn't too big of a deal. And to be honest, I don't really think this ring is going to be worth too much because, well, I mean, it's not even on a good base. And that's the other thing too that you have to kind of consider, especially as the league progresses. People are going to be really going towards those steel rings, the opal rings, you know, the bases that are actually a little bit better. This is on a sapphire base, so not ideal, but maybe if somebody needed the cold resist. So we'll go ahead and put in this. I'm just going to put number elemental resistances 1. And it's just to make sure we get rings with resist on them. And if we put this up like this, you can actually see, again, like I was saying, it does have a little bit of value. But again, this was listed 6 days ago at 4 chaos, and it's whatever. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll list this for 4 chaos as well, just in case somebody wants it. So pretty straightforward on that ring for its price. And it's fine. You know, I wanted to have something that was like this because this is majority of the stuff that you're going to be getting. And being able to price this stuff quickly, just so you could get it done with, so if somebody wants to buy it, is better. But this amulet, now this amulet is something that I'm going to have a little bit of a hard time pricing. I've gotten 2 offers, technically 3 offers for this amulet. The first offer I got was for 3 chaos, which, or it may have actually been for 6 chaos, I don't know. It was below 10 chaos. That was the first offer. And then the second offer was for 15 chaos, and then that same guy offered 18 chaos after that. But I told him no. I think it's worth more than that. Maybe not too much more, but I was also leaving right at that time, so I didn't want to rush into selling it for 15 or 18 chaos to him, and I left. So unfortunately, you know, the trade didn't go through. But I think this amulet is pretty good because it has it's got tier 1 life on it. maybe it's tier 2. I really hate how they flip the numbers around to how people actually usually reference tiers. Like usually if you have, you know, if you this used to be tier 1, absolutely. I really wish it said tier 1, you know, instead of tier 5 here, because that's kind of confusing. But the physical damage roll is pretty good. It's got all resist and it's got dexterity, and the dexterity is pretty good because this piece actually gives 50 dexterity as of right now, and it would go up to about 57 dexterity, which a lot of builds could probably, I'd imagine a lot of jug builds would probably want this for its dexterity. So let's go ahead and go, actually I'm going to start doing this because I think this is a little bit better, just in case I want to open tabs for each item, just in case I want to go back later in the video and actually talk about something real quick. So dexterity, let's go ahead and just put 50. I'm okay with putting 50 on here because, you know, a lot of times, you know, whenever you're looking for a piece of jewelry and you want one of those like primary stats on it, you know, a 30 plus roll is kind of what you usually shoot for, but anything that has 50 is really valuable because, you know, it's usually going to solve any stat problem you have entirely and just by itself. So I think that is actually a pretty good factor for this item. Now, this is actually something I need to be a little bit better with, but the physical damage to attacks, I'm actually going to sort by that. But you could also put minimums in there if for some reason there's another value on there that you're curious about. So life, I'm not going to put as much life as actually on there because obviously it can go up to 89, but it's at 80 right now. But I'm actually going to put 70. I'm going to put 70 life so I could see other, you know, other amulets that are similar, because you might not have too many. I would like to get as many as possible. Like, I think an ideal search would probably net you anywhere between 6 to 10 items that are similar to yours. And that should give you a really good idea of a proper value. If it's fewer than 3, then you're going to have a hard time valuing it. And if there's a ton of items, like if you have 50, you know, or even like 20 plus, 30 plus, it's also gonna affect the value of your item. So it's something that you have to find the right balance for. But we'll also put in total elemental resistances. Now the reason why I want to do this is I'm actually going to put 30, because either you're going to get a piece of gear that has like a 30, at least 30 resist in one, or 30 roll and at least 1 resist, or it's going to be an all elemental resist such as mine. So let's go ahead and search. And unfortunately this is actually the only one, which sucks, but this is what I'm saying now. Like, obviously you can't really price it because you have to look. Something you can do if you really wanted to, if you were really determined, is to make it to where it's offline as well. This does give you a pretty good idea as well, but again, it's kind of weird to price based off of what is offline. So I'm going to look at this and consider it, but I'm going to go back and try to refine my search a little bit to get more. Well, not, I'm going to try to unrefine my search, I suppose, but I'm going to try to get more out of it. But these are, you know, even looking at these, how this amulet or my amulet stacks up, it's actually very similar to this one right here. This one also has a tier 1 life roll, but this one has a crafted resist. My amulet actually has an open suffix on it. So that means it could get another resist on there. It could potentially have more resist. You could put crit on here. You could put any other stat on there. You could put a suffix on here. So that's worth keeping in mind, especially when you're pricing it. So let's go ahead and go back. We're gonna do online only. Now let's go ahead and drop the dexterity down to 40. We'll drop this down to 60, and then we'll keep the resist and see how many we get off of that. 3. So, and again, you know, this is where it could be a little difficult. But I don't want to refine my search too much more, or I don't want to unrefine my search. I don't want to get many more options than this, because honestly, it's still pretty good. Now, the one thing that I think is worth mentioning here too, especially when you're like looking at this, you might think like, okay, well, this one's pretty good. It's only 4 chaos. The physical damage roll is a crafted roll. It has a low multi-roll, and it has a tier 3 life roll on it. So, you know, it's really not that good. This one is not that good at all. But, you know, going back to mine's pretty good. This one's really good. The 12 to 26 physical, 26 all attributes. That's really, really strong. That actually puts this at 50 dexterity if you bless it up, which is really good. 50 dexterity, 50 intelligence, and 26 strength. That's a really strong. That's a really strong amulet. If it had some other rolls on it. I'm trying to think of how mine is better than this one. So mine has more life, and it has all res, which is pretty good. But this one, like I said, this one's not that bad either. This amulet might be a little underpriced. But the thing with this amulet is it has to be... I don't know. This amulet's a little underpriced because it also does have a suffix open. If this amulet had maybe like wed right here, it would be really, really valuable. So... Oh, sorry if you hear that. So let's go ahead and go back real quick and go to offline, or offline as well. So this will give us a good round, like a much better idea of a value. So this is the lowest one, 4 chaos, all the way up to 80 chaos, with some unpriced ones. I would definitely say that this amulet is worth about, if I were to price it based off of all of this knowledge, I would say this one is underpriced. This one should probably be listed for 20 or 25, and I'm gonna go ahead and list mine for 35 chaos. I think with the suffix open, and you know, the fact that you could put another resist on there, it could get over 50 dexterity, which, like I said, that will generally solve a lot for a build. I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and price that at 35 chaos. Yeah. I think that's pretty fair. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think 35 chaos is like far too much for this? I would like to see your reasoning. Also, for the people, I saw a few people disliked that last video. If you dislike these videos, I would really like to know why. Is it because of like my stance on trading? Is it just the format? Is there something I could do different? I just want to make this something where people could have a really good idea of how to actually price. And you know, as soon as these items sell, I'll actually probably put a little comment up and I'll pin it so you can see it in this video. So if you ever want to go back and see if an item is sold, it's probably in the comment section. And yeah, I'm also thinking about doing another video where I actually just go through a bunch of old screenshots that I've taken of other items that I've sold, just so you can kind of see my track record, because I usually price things pretty well. At least I sell things, and I do all right. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.